Welcome to the fascinating world of Highland cattle farming, home to the charming, shaggy-haired cows. More specifically, you can discover how farmers run their operations and see how they have succeeded. If the idea of raising Scotland's iconic cattle appeals to you, then follow us on a tour of these farms. Harsh conditions have created a process of natural selection, where only the strongest and most adaptable animals survive to continue the breed. Today, Highland cattle farms can be found all over the world, including Canada, the United States, Australia, and parts of Europe. It can be said that this Highland cattle breed can withstand harsh weather. Cold weather and snow do not affect them much. Today, there are millions of Highland cattle raised as far north as Alaska and the Scandinavian countries. They are also well adapted to climates further south, with rugged mountain ranges as far south as Texas, Louisiana, and Georgia, or the Highland ranges of Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. The Highland cattle, with their distinctive horns and shaggy coat, have attracted many farmers to raise them. In addition to their uniqueness, they bring many benefits to the farm, from their endurance and adaptability to the production of high-quality beef and dairy products. To run a successful farm, farmers need to choose the ideal location for their cattle. The right environment can make a huge difference to the health and productivity of their herd. The breed is relatively well adapted to colder temperatures and rugged, hilly terrain, mimicking their native habitat in Scotland. They are excellent foragers and graze on a wide range of vegetation, so farms need ample pasture with a variety of vegetation to support their nutritional needs. During the winter months, when the grasslands are dying, farmers need to provide food for them. Food such as hay or vegetables are harvested right on the farm. You can see these cows are being fed pumpkins, which are probably farm waste. Farmers can use these byproducts to feed their cows. This can help to process some agricultural waste, as well as save on feed costs for the cows. Cow healthcare is also important, as their health is the key to success on any farm. Although these cows are very healthy and known for their stamina, they still need proper care and attention to stay healthy. Breeding and reproduction management plays a key role in the growth and sustainable development of the Highland cattle herd. Each farm usually has breeding cows, so the farm owner needs to prepare carefully for the breeding season. Ensure that the breeding area is clean and safe. Providing proper nutrition, vaccination and care will help the calves grow healthily, increasing the number of the herd. With the development of modern times, cattle exhibitions have been expanded to many areas of the world. Highland cattle are also exhibited in Scotland and other parts of the United Kingdom. Farmers select the most beautiful, strongest and most agile cattle to attend the exhibitions. Here, they can be auctioned for up to thousands of US dollars each. This also promotes the development of Highland cattle farms. Once the cattle have been raised to a certain level, they are transported to processing plants to be transformed into high-quality beef products. Scottish beef processing facilities adhere to strict EU and UK regulations to ensure the humane and safe handling of the meat. Once processed, the carcasses are graded for quality, marbling, and fat content. Premium Highland beef is often dry-aged to enhance flavor before packaging. Highland beef is considered to be one of the most flavorful and highest quality meats in the world. It is renowned for its rich flavor, tenderness, and health benefits. Fine dining restaurants and health-conscious consumers are increasingly demanding this premium beef. Consumers love the lean, tender, flavorful meat. The British royal family maintains a Highland beef farm at Balmoral Castle for its meat and milk. Of course, the premium meat products are only consumed by members of the royal family. Have you ever enjoyed Highland beef? Leave your comments below to let us know.
Do you think cacti are just houseplants or vegetation that grows on dry land? Yes, because they are actually drought-tolerant plants, which is great for those who are lazy about watering their plants. But wait! You are missing out on a really great use for this plant, which is as cow feed. It may sound strange, but cacti are actually one of the sustainable sources of food for cows, especially in areas with water shortages. Today, we will explore this interesting fact. Cactus. Just hearing the name makes us feel the thorns, right? Most of us know that cacti grow in extremely arid places. No one waters or cares for them, but they still live healthily like a warrior. They not only survive in harsh conditions, but also equip themselves with a thorny shell to protect themselves from all intrusions. Some species can even survive when the temperature reaches 40 degrees Celsius and still be awake. Growing cacti to feed cows? It sounds like a crazy idea, but it actually makes sense. If you are a smart farmer, you can grow cacti on land where no other plants can grow. It doesn't need much water. Poor soil? Cactus doesn't care. And cows will eat well, drink natural water without worrying about lack of food. So why not try it? Listen, you won't be a hard-working farmer when growing these cacti. In contrast to other plants that need fertile soil and lots of water, cacti are much easier. They can grow on poor soil, don't need much water, and importantly, become a useful food source for cows. The most popular cactus variety is Opuntia because they are least thorny and most delicious. The process of growing cacti is quite simple and does not require much investment. Simply take sections of cactus from a mature plant, at least 20 to 30 centimeters long, don't be too stingy. Bury them about 5 to 10 centimeters deep in the ground. Cactus plants root easily and thrive without much care. The only thing they need is loose, not waterlogged soil and a little water if it gets too dry. The cactus can be harvested after about 1 to 2 years, after which the plant will continue to grow for many more years. Unlike the harvesting process for other agricultural products, when harvesting cactus for cows, people will cut off large sections of the stem. But don't worry, the plant will grow back quickly from the base and they can harvest periodically. Therefore, the cows will be provided with a food source all year round. In order for the cows to be able to enjoy the cactus safely, the farmer will have to handle it a bit. Usually, large-scale cattle farms will use incinerators to remove the dangerous sharp thorns, avoiding injury to the cows. Therefore, if you see burnt cacti on the farm, don't think that there is a cactus barbecue party going on. In addition, they can remove the thorns by cutting or peeling. However, cows are smarter than you think. They rarely eat cactus that still have thorns. After removing the thorns, the cactus can be chopped and fed directly to the cows. Some farmers also grind or chop the cactus and mix it with dry feed in the appropriate proportion. Although cactus is low in protein, only about 5%, it is a perfect choice when combined with nutritious feed. So, why is cactus a perfect choice for raising cattle? First of all, it saves on feed costs, especially during droughts when other feed sources become scarce. An interesting comparison is that cactus contains up to 75% of the energy of corn, but costs 20 times less to produce in harsh semi-arid environments. A recent study in Brazil showed that replacing corn silage with cactus increased the production efficiency of dairy cows without affecting milk quality. In particular, other foods need to be preserved in dry or fermented form, but cacti can be preserved all year round without spoiling, still retaining the necessary amount of water. In addition, this food is also a source of vitamin A and a large amount of non-fibrous carbohydrates, NFC, which helps increase energy for livestock. Welcome to our channel. Today, we will explore a traditional Chinese village where handmade charcoal production has existed for centuries. Traditional charcoal production not only brings income to farmers, but also crystallizes the culture of ancient villages. Don't take your eyes off the video to not miss interesting information. Charcoal making in China has existed for a long time, an indispensable part of the culture and life of many villages. Before gas became popular, every household had to rely on wood or charcoal to make fire. Today, although the demand for charcoal has decreased, the charcoal making profession still exists, thanks to the passion of those who want to preserve the tradition. Charcoal making in China has existed for a long time, an indispensable part of the culture and life of many villages. Before gas became popular, every household had to rely on wood or charcoal to make fire. Today, although the demand for charcoal has decreased, the charcoal making profession still exists, thanks to the passion of those who want to preserve the tradition. The characteristic of traditional charcoal making villages is that the charcoal kiln is built of bricks or stones, forming a solid dome shape. The charcoal kiln consists of two main parts, the combustion chamber and the smoldering chamber, connected by heat pipes. The gaps in the kiln must be fixed and sealed with mud. The charcoal kiln must also have a kiln door to put in raw materials and take out charcoal, along with a chimney to discharge smoke and dissipate heat. To protect the kiln body from damage by rain and wind, farmers will arrange the kiln house and cover it above. To create quality charcoal products, choosing the type of wood is a prerequisite. Hardwood is often preferred because it produces high-quality charcoal. For example, acacia charcoal, popular in early Taiwan, is suitable for spicy grilled dishes such as wild boar. Longan charcoal, which is hard and dense, can maintain a long burning time, is smokeless at high temperatures, and has a light fruity smell. Mahogany charcoal, which is often used for seafood, is also harder and burns longer. Oak charcoal can be stored for a long time and has many uses such as fuel, grilling food, dehumidifying, etc. Finally, bamboo charcoal, which is porous and has strong absorption, is used to remove dirt, prevent moisture, and deodorize. After being cut into short pieces, the wood is left to dry for a period of time. The small branches will be used as fuel to burn the charcoal. Once prepared, the wood is moved into the kiln and stacked tightly inside. The stacking of the wood requires careful attention to ensure even heat conduction during the burning process. This is a laborious task, as the farmer has to transport a lot of wood to fill this giant kiln. The kiln door is then sealed with bricks and mud, leaving only a small opening for the fire to be lit. The kiln will burn continuously for several days, depending on the type of wood and how dry the tree is. Some types of wood only take about 10 days to turn into charcoal, while mangrove wood can take up to 32 days. During this time, the farmer must maintain the fire 24 hours a day to ensure the charcoal burning process goes smoothly. The charcoal burning process requires careful observation. The smoke from the kiln will gradually change from black to gray, white, clear blue, and smokeless. This is when the fire must be stopped and the kiln sealed to allow the carbonization process to take place. After that, it takes about 2 weeks for the kiln to cool naturally before the workers can take out the coal. The whole process from starting the kiln to taking out the coal takes about 30 to 45 days. When the kiln is opened, the temperature inside is usually very high. The working environment is extremely harsh, hot, and dusty. The coal after being taken out needs to be screened, because not every batch produces good quality coal. Too big a fire will lead to too much carbonization, while too small a fire will not be enough to completely carbonize. If the coal core is dark, yellow, and bright, it means that the carbonization process is complete and the quality is good. On the contrary, dark gray indicates that the wood is not completely carbonized and is prone to producing black smoke, resulting in poor quality coal. Every step in the process requires meticulousness and precision, from maintaining the temperature in the kiln to checking the color and the quality of the charcoal. Charcoal production not only brings income to the people, but also has a significant impact on the environment. These craft villages often develop sustainably by planting new trees to replace the ones that have been exploited. The charcoal market is still very vibrant, with many demands from culinary and industrial uses. However, the focus needs to be on protecting the environment and finding ways to reduce emissions. Although the advent of modern technology and equipment has greatly affected the traditional charcoal production profession, many charcoal kilns still exist as cultural icons and tourist attractions.
Summer is always a great time to enjoy fresh, juicy fruits, and Japan is no exception. The most popular fruit is probably watermelon. However, instead of the usual round watermelons, they also have watermelons with many strange shapes such as squares, hearts, pyramids, etc. So, what is special about their flavor and ingredients compared to regular watermelons? Let's find out in this video. Square watermelons or heart-shaped watermelons all originate from the endless creativity of the Japanese. In particular, square watermelons, also known as Shikaku suika, were born in the late 1970s in Sensuji Town, Kagawa Prefecture. Farmer Tomoyuki Ono was the first person to invent a way to grow watermelons in square boxes, giving the melons this unique shape. But not only stopping at square watermelons, the Japanese have also created heart-shaped watermelons, pyramid-shaped watermelons. And the interesting thing is that they all have one thing in common: perfection in both form and utility. You probably won't believe it, but it's true that watermelons can have many different shapes like that. And they all come from a simple principle, which is to grow watermelons in specially shaped molds. These molds are not only novel, but also very practical. Thanks to them, watermelons can be easily stored, transported, and have an eye-catching shape, very suitable for display or as gifts. If you think that creating these strange watermelons must be a complicated process, you are wrong. In fact, all the melon growing processes take place normally until the young melon appears. To have square watermelons, farmers just need to put the young melons into sturdy acrylic plastic molds. But make sure these molds are smaller than the size of the mature melon. As the melon grows, it will automatically form the mold. And similarly, with heart-shaped or pyramid-shaped watermelons, they only need special molds to create the perfect shape. Imagine a sweet and unique heart-shaped watermelon displayed during holidays or special events. This not only adds to the fun, but also makes a strong impression on the recipient. You must be wondering, with these unique shapes, are they expensive? The answer is extremely expensive. Square watermelons can cost from $65 and up. However, if it is a high-end square watermelon, the price can be up to about $700. With such a sensational price, watermelon is not only a fruit, but also a luxurious gift, a symbol of respect and affection on special occasions. And don't be surprised if you see watermelon prices in high-end stores or in luxurious boxes, because they are indispensable gifts during the New Year holidays in Japan. But don't think that this watermelon is only valuable because of its shape. It is also a part of Japanese culture, where perfection in every detail is valued. With such an expensive price, everyone probably hopes that it will be a fruit with great flavor. However, sometimes things don't go as expected, because square or heart-shaped watermelons are not suitable for eating. In fact, they are often harvested when they are not ripe, mainly for decoration or as gifts on special occasions. Nowadays, the techniques of growing watermelons with special shapes have been improved, and farmers have given more priority to the taste of watermelons. Because surely, on a special holiday, no one wants the special watermelon that is expected to disappoint everyone. However, if you can express your feelings with a heart-shaped watermelon, it would be great, right? And with these watermelons, you will not have to worry about how to cut them, because they are perfectly shaped from the moment they are planted. Square or heart-shaped watermelons can be found at high-end department stores in Tokyo, Osaka, or most notably in the town of Zentsuji, which produces the most square watermelons. In addition, these special watermelons have also made an impression on the international markets. However, as you know, their prices are not cheap, so if you want to enjoy a special watermelon, consider before buying. Hello everyone! Surely when mentioning paper, we often only think of books, newspapers, or notebooks in daily life. But few people know that paper is an indispensable part of Chinese culture and history. A country with a tradition of papermaking spanning thousands of years. So, what is special about traditional Chinese paper, and how do craftsmen produce it? Today, let's explore the interesting secrets of these traditional papermaking workshops. Chinese handmade paper was born more than 2,000 years ago, an important invention of China, helping to preserve and spread culture. Initially, paper was made from hemp and animal skin, but gradually, bamboo became the main material. Chinese handmade paper not only serves the field of calligraphy, but is also used in many fields such as printing, packaging, hygiene, and worship. Handmade paper was born more than 2,000 years ago, an important invention of China, helping to preserve and spread culture. Initially, paper was made from hemp and animal skin, but gradually, bamboo became the main material. Chinese handmade paper not only serves the field of calligraphy, but is also used in many fields such as printing, packaging, hygiene, and worship. If you think that making paper is simply chopping up pulp and drying it, then you are wrong. Each stage requires patience, creativity, and high skills of the craftsman. They have to carry out each step meticulously so that each sheet of paper is a work of art. Let's imagine a day as a papermaker. The first step is to prepare the raw materials: bamboo, mulberry bark, and sandalwood. All must be soaked in an alkaline solution to remove the glue. This is an extremely important step, helping the paper to be flexible and not hard, like an old advertisement. If you think that making paper is simply chopping up pulp and drying it, then you are wrong. Each stage requires patience, creativity, and high skills of the craftsman. They have to carry out each step meticulously so that each sheet of paper is a work of art. Let's imagine a day as a papermaker. The first step is to prepare the raw materials: bamboo, mulberry bark, and sandalwood. All must be soaked in an alkaline solution to remove the glue. This is an extremely important step, helping the paper to be flexible and not hard, like an old advertisement. After the raw materials have been soaked for enough time, the worker begins to grind them into powder. Previously, this step was quite hard, having to be pounded by hand continuously.
but now there are machines to support, much faster and more convenient. Next, the powder is put into large water tanks, stirred into a viscous liquid. The worker will use wooden molds and bamboo mats to scoop the powder, creating a thin layer of paper like sushi wrapper paper. But this is not an easy step. It must be extremely skillful. The paper must be even, not lumpy. Otherwise, it will create a finished product that everyone wants to throw away. After having a thin layer of paper, it is time to press to remove excess water and make the paper flexible. This is the step that helps the paper survive the drying stage afterwards without tearing like old sheets of paper. Finally, the paper will be dried in the sun or dried in a drying room. These dried papers are usually very durable and can be used for a century without rotting. And if you want to do it quickly, some places use ovens to steam the paper quickly. You might think that Chinese handmade paper is only for small books, right? Oh no! Factories also produce giant sheets of paper. These giant sheets of paper are often used for special purposes, such as high-end art products or religious ceremonies. Surely when you see them, you will not imagine that handmade paper can be so big. Finally, the paper will be dried in the sun or dried in a drying room. These dried papers are usually very durable and can be used for a century without rotting. And if you want to do it quickly, some places use ovens to steam the paper quickly. You might think that Chinese handmade paper is only for small books, right? Oh no! Factories also produce giant sheets of paper. These giant sheets of paper are often used for special purposes, such as high-end art products or religious ceremonies. Surely when you see them, you will not imagine that handmade paper can be so big. Although Chinese handmade paper is still used in many fields, the production of handmade paper is gradually decreasing. What is the reason? The younger generation is increasingly leaving the countryside to find work in the city, putting this craft at risk of extinction. Papermaking areas are often located in remote rural areas with difficult transportation and difficult to find young workers. Although Chinese handmade paper is still used in many fields, the production of handmade paper is gradually decreasing. What is the reason? The younger generation is increasingly leaving the countryside to find work in the city, putting this craft at risk of extinction. Papermaking areas are often located in remote rural areas with difficult transportation and difficult to find young workers. Despite many difficulties, many localities are still making efforts to preserve traditional handmade papermaking. Paper museums and cultural villages, such as the Sichuan Handmade Paper Museum and the Chinese Traditional Papermaking and Printing Cultural Village, not only protect this craft but also develop tourism, helping to raise public awareness of the cultural value of handmade paper. Chinese handmade paper still holds an important place in calligraphy, painting, and high-end handicrafts. In recent years, programs to preserve and revive traditional crafts have been vigorously implemented. The government and private organizations are working together to improve the quality and protect the unique values of handmade paper.
More than 1.4 billion Chinese people consume large amounts of pork every year, as pork is a staple in their diet. To meet this huge demand, China must produce and import a large amount of pork every year. So, how much pork do processing plants have to produce to meet the people's consumption needs? Let's find out right now! On average, China consumes about 55 to 60 million tons of pork per year, which equates to a demand of about 40 to 45 kilograms of pork per person per year. Although China is the largest pork producer globally, producing about 45 to 55 million tons of pork per year, it is not always enough to meet demand, especially when factors such as disease outbreaks or economic conditions affect production. To optimize production and meet demand, China needs to invest right from the start. Farms are adopting smart farming techniques, such as using advanced technology and artificial intelligence to improve efficiency, reduce costs, and improve pig health. These innovations are being applied to large-scale farms to increase productivity while meeting stricter environmental standards. In addition, selective breeding and genetic engineering programs are being pursued to develop healthier, more disease-resistant pigs, which could help China's pork industry recover more quickly. Pork has been an integral part of the Chinese diet for centuries. China's pork industry is one of the most important sectors, providing employment and economic stability to the hundreds of millions of Chinese people who work in livestock farming and meat processing. Pig farms in China produce tens of millions of tons of pork each year. Pork processing facilities are located throughout China. The plants are equipped with state-of-the-art technology to handle every stage of the production process, from slaughter to packaging and distribution. With advanced technology, these plants maximize efficiency while adhering to strict hygiene and food safety standards. The main goals of processing facilities are to increase production capacity, reduce costs, and ensure a stable supply of pork for China's large population. In addition, pork processing plants create significant job opportunities, support local economies, and contribute to the development of a large agricultural infrastructure. Despite a robust domestic pork industry that produces more than half of the world's pork supply, challenges remain. Factors such as disease outbreaks, rising feed costs, and environmental regulations all play a role in shaping the country's pork output. Due to these factors, domestic pork supply has not been able to meet demand. In recent years, China has turned to international markets to ensure enough pork for its people. Countries such as Brazil, Spain, and the United States are major exporters of pork to China. Imports have played an important role in helping China overcome the shortage period. However, the dependence on imports comes with challenges, such as fluctuating global pork prices. To address the challenges in production, to help the market become more self-sufficient, China is increasingly turning to technology and innovation. Feeding China's more than 1.4 billion people requires a huge amount of pork, around 55 to 60 million tons per year. Although China is the world's largest pork producer, domestic production often falls short of growing demand, leading to a heavy reliance on imports. However, with technological advances, government initiatives, and a focus on sustainability, China is working to maintain its position as a major pork producer while ensuring its food supply for the future. Hello, beloved viewers of David Farm. With your passion for exploring agriculture, surely you have seen our modern pig farm models more than once, where pigs are raised in an industrial environment with modern support equipment. However, their food is cheap synthetic food. Today, I will take you to a pig farm in China with a semi-wild farming model, but the food they use to raise pigs is extremely high-quality food. For any of us who hear about king crab, we know that this is an extremely expensive food source. Dishes from king crab or lobster are almost only for those with economic means. But in China, lobster and king crab are food for pig. That's right, you heard right. There are pig farms in China that are fed seafood that costs up to hundreds of dollars. Perhaps you will find it hard to believe and ask why Chinese farmers feed king crab to their pigs, while there are many people who have never eaten this expensive crab. The pig breeds raised by the Chinese are not precious or expensive pig breeds, but they are common pig breeds. In rural and mountainous areas of China, pigs roam freely on grasslands or in forests or valleys. Such conditions make it possible to imagine pigs having such an expensive diet. Although they are raised by Chinese farmers for meat or economic development, we all see that pig food is many times more expensive than the pigs being raised. So, why are pigs in China fed seafood? In fact, people have been catching seafood for food since ancient times, but it was not always associated with luxury. Its abundance and the difficulties of transportation and storage requirements have left some coastal areas with abundant seafood reserves. For coastal towns in China, when there is too much seafood without economic value, it will be used as animal feed and fertilizer for fields. Today, it is hard to imagine that crabs that cost thousands of dollars could only be used as food for pigs or to fertilize a cornfield. Not only do farms in China feed animals seafood, but other regions such as Africa or some countries in Europe since the 20th century have also fed pigs seafood. Some countries in Africa, typically Mozambique, have large seafood reserves. There are many types of lobsters and king crabs, but their prices are very cheap. When human consumption demand is not high, excess seafood is also used as food for pigs and used to fertilize crops. Many people believe that pigs are omnivores, but they need to eat plant-based foods. If pigs are fed seafood, they will have health problems. However, in fact, according to research, seafood is rich in protein, vitamins, and minerals that are beneficial for pigs. The high protein content helps develop muscles and aids in overall growth. Pigs fed seafood will grow better than pigs fed only regular vegetables. pigs may find the taste of seafood appealing. Providing pigs with seafood can increase their appetite and encourage them to eat more. Especially in some livestock activities, byproducts or waste from seafood that are not suitable for human consumption will be used as animal food. This is a way to reduce waste and provide nutritious food for pigs. To minimize farming costs while still providing mineral-rich food for pigs, animal feed manufacturers have processed fish meal into industrial feed, promoting development and growth in pigs. Currently, feeding pigs seafood is not popular on livestock farms due to its high cost and high price. Most pig farms in the world are raised in closed models and fed industrial feed. Raising time is also shorter than pigs in semi-wild farms. Most pigs are harvested after 6 months of raising. Each year, approximately 1.5 billion pigs are processed in slaughterhouses for human consumption. All regions of the world have built modern processing factories, applying high-tech machinery to create large productivity and output. Pork is the most common and most important food source in human life. This is also the most important industry, creating jobs for hundreds of millions of people around the world. We just discovered how Chinese farmers raise pigs aristocratically. How do you feel about today's video? Please leave your comments below to let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to receive the latest notifications. And now, goodbye and see you all again. Today's video ends here. How do you feel about this video? Leave your comments below to let us know. Don't forget to like, subscribe to receive the latest notifications. And now, goodbye and see you all again.